Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm just gonna do a sit down video and talk about different ways I am trying to rediscover myself and learn who this new person is in this new chapter of life, this new season of life. And if you're someone who's struggling to get to know yourself, and if you're feeling a little bit unsure of yourself and you want to get out of that headspace, then stay tuned because I am exactly where you are. I literally just got out of class and I was gonna make a script for this video, but I was just laying here on the floor because I'm introverted, if you guys don't know, and so when I'm around people I get drained kind of easily. So I got here and I just laid on the floor. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do anything now. And then I started thinking about this video and I was like, let me just do it now because like I feel inspired and motivated to talk about it right now. So let me just do that while I have time in between classes. So here we are. So to begin with, I don't know how this kind of started, but I got into this headspace of just not really trusting my own opinions and perspectives and everything like that. I'm not sure where the shift happened, but I noticed that I was in this headspace where I was always asking people their opinions before even consulting myself, and I didn't catch this until like I would say probably like 2 months ago. And I was like, oof, we need to evaluate that, because I remember seeing this podcast episode on impact, women of impact, and I saw this episode like 2 years ago, but it resurfaced to my mind because I remember Roddy Shetty talking about this situation that she was in. It was kind of similar to what I was in, and so I went to go rewatch it, and everything she talked about not really being sure of herself and not really knowing what she liked as a person, and like having a lack of confidence and, you know, self-doubt. And when I rewatched that episode, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like me, copy and pasted basically. And so this also reminded me of I was rereading a few chapters in Deepak Chopra's book called Reinventing the Body, Resurrecting the Soul, and he has this one line in there that I shared on my Instagram 50 million times at this point, and I shared my blog post because like it really hit home, especially during the season of my life. And he basically said, you must meet yourself every day. Because I don't know about you, but like I was in the season, I think it was like beginning of 2021 when I first read Think Like a Monk, and I started to get more into spirituality and all this other stuff, and I felt like I did the work. Like I took a break from dating. I intentionally remained single, and that this was during COVID too, when like we were kind of like sheltered in. Oh no, it was like a year into COVID, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna focus on me and my self-growth. I woke up at 5 a.m. every day, meditated for 30 minutes, did yoga, had my breakfast, did classes, went to work, came back, did yoga again, another 30 minutes of meditation, and then went to bed. I had like a lovely routine. It was beautiful. After that period in my life, I thought like I made it. I thought I achieved the epitome of what it meant for self-growth. I was like, I figured out the answers. I got it down pat. But a few months after that, I don't know, did something switch to where like I made a video about this, and I self-diagnosed myself with burnout. I'm not sure whether that's what it was, but like I really did feel just a drop in energy and like a switch in my mindset to where I just did not find joy in anything I did anymore. Like I stopped making YouTube videos, I stopped writing, really. I wasn't hanging out with my friends that much. I guess you could call it kind of depression as well, but I feel like that's kind of crossing the line because like I was still getting out of bed and going to work and making good grades. So like I'm not really sure what it was. I just knew that I needed to ride that wave, and then eventually on the other side I would be better. But it took longer than I expected. Like I was in that state for a good year-ish. Going back to Deepak Chopra, it reminded me that you never really fully know yourself, because when I thought I had it all figured out and I had that period of where like I was kind of depressed and burnt out, it made me realize that I stopped working on myself. I stopped trying to get to know myself. And if you look at your relationship in comparison with other people in your life, whether that be romantic or platonic, everyone grows, and you have to continually get to know that person, because like hopefully they're not going to be the same today, tomorrow, 5 years from now. So you have to put in that effort and get to know them. And so that's the same with yourself. You have to put in that effort, and I just stopped putting in that effort. And I think that was part of the problem with how I got into that burnout state. I didn't have that spark anymore, and I realized that part of that spark is trying new things, figuring out new things about yourself, reinventing yourself, growing as a person. Like that's a part of that spark, and once you stop doing that, you will feel stuck. And that's what I felt for the longest because I was clinging to this epitome I thought I reached. What I needed to do was let go of that and keep going forward. But I was like, no, I figured it out, I figured it out. And like that's what held me back. Then I went into the state of like, I just really was not sure of myself. And what I mean by that is like, I just couldn't make a decision without consulting other people. And that's okay if you want to ask people's opinions on a situation, especially big decisions. Like, I like to get input, but like I was doing it to the point where like even small decisions, like literally I was texting my aunt pictures of a guy that I was dating at the time, and I was like, is he cute? Should I go out on another date with him? What do you think? Do you think I should go on a third date? I'm like, why am I asking her what I should do in this scenario? This is my love life. Like, I should be able to be like, did I enjoy that first date? Do I think he's cute? Am I attracted to him? Why am I asking my aunt if I should be attracted to this guy? You get what I'm saying? That's how it was, just small decisions. And like at the time, red flag didn't go off my head. Like, Aaliyah, you need to pause for a second. You shouldn't be asking people to make your decisions for you, you know? And I remember Roddy Shetty actually said something very similar in her interview on Women of Impact, and she was like, when she went to the store, she couldn't decide whether she wanted like a pink scarf or a blue scarf because like she just didn't know herself. Like, she just didn't take that time to ask herself, what do you like? That's the stage I'm in, and once I caught that, now I'm trying to work on it. If what I described, if you are in that state, you are not alone. It happens. A few things I've been doing to kind of get back on track to figure out what I like. Well, number one, I'm trying to put more effort into taking myself out more again, because I remember I made a series where I was taking myself out on solo dates and like, you know, journaling and know myself, and that was such a beautiful like season. I'm like, why did you stop that? That was like, you were on the right track. That was amazing. I just stopped it. So like I'm trying to get back into that, trying to put a date on the calendar for me. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant, even if it's just like, today you're gonna go grab coffee and go sit outside in a park and read, like, you know, just stuff like that, and being intentional about that. Because when you do that, you are basically creating space for yourself, because even if you're in a relationship throughout your whole life, you're gonna have to make time for yourself and get to know yourself. And so if you start these habits now, especially if you're like me in your early 20s, if you start this habit now, I feel like you're just gonna flourish in the future, whether you're in a relationship or not, you know? I'm trying to do that, and if you guys want me to make videos on that, let me know down below. The second thing I'm doing is I have a pause whenever I have to make a decision, because usually when I have to make a decision, I'll either call my mom, text my aunt, text anybody, text one of my friends, and I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? Instead of asking myself first, what do you think you should do? I also mentioned this in my video where I was talking about how I was permanently deleting my TikTok, and I mentioned how there was just so many opinions just coming in. I think I touched on like my state of mind with this whole video in that video. Like, I alluded to this video. I was like, on TikTok, there's just so many people with opinions that are just coming in my ear, out the other. Some of them is sticking, and like, I just couldn't think for myself. It's such an uncomfortable feeling, because I never really had this problem growing up. Like, I was a very opinionated person. I was a very observable, what's the word? I am a very observable person. That's not the right word. I like to observe things. And so when I got into this headspace, I was like, ugh, this does not feel right. Like, like I usually think for myself. I gave the example of how I remember one day I was talking to my friend, and we were talking about dating and guys and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah, like I just hate men. That's when I was like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And like, I don't know about you guys, but like on my For You page when I was on TikTok, it was just all this women like, oh, I hate men. And like, I'm like, even though I don't hold that belief, just me saying that just proves that like what we take in, what we consume on a daily basis becomes your thoughts, becomes your opinion. It's that pause for me, and I'm really improving on that, and I'm really proud of myself. Eventually, once I find my footing again and find like what I like and what I want to see in my future, like then I could like start bringing in other opinions again. But like right now, it's just like I have to have that pause and first consult myself. And then number 3, it all comes down to like self-talk and building that trust in myself. Like, small things that I'm doing is, if I say I'm gonna do something, if I have something written down on my to-do list, I'm gonna get it done. Like this morning, I said, well, last night, I said, Leah, you're gonna wake up at 6 a.m. This morning, that alarm went off and I got out of bed, because I'm trying to rebuild that trust in myself. Because like, if you can't even do the small things that you tell yourself you're gonna do, you can't trust yourself to do the big things, you know? And I noticed that when I was in my little burnout phase, I would tell myself, okay, Leah, today you're gonna, you know, get up and write your blog post, film a video, and, you know, do all this stuff and work out. And I would get up and I wouldn't do any of it. I was like, I just don't feel like it. That just shows me like I'm not willing to show up for myself. So I hope hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below for a new video every week. Yes, I said a new video every week. And if you want, go follow me over on my blog at rediscover.com, where I post weekly blog posts on minimalism, veganism, and just essays on life. But yeah, make sure to stay inspired, and we love you.